sorry about the delay.
It's
I
okay.
was waiting on my cameraman.
Just give my good
So,
side.
thank you all so much for being here. It just means the world to me. The first person on program is my pastor.
Amen.
Pastor Walter Ward. He's going to lead us out in prayer. And then we're going to move right along.
Eternal God, our Father, we thank you today for just granting us the privilege to come before thy presence. We thank you right now, God, for this day and this time. And we thank you for this program that we're about to conclude in. We thank you, dear Heavenly Father, for all of the veterans that have laid their life down for our life and for our protection in this nation in which we live. And we come today, oh God, to just celebrate and recognize them on this day. We thank you for all those that have worked so hard and diligently. We have put this program on together. And we just thank you for all of your choice blessings and all of your kindness that you have bestowed upon each and every one of us. So as we go through this program today, God, help us to reflect and to remember those who have laid their life down for us, and those that you have chosen, oh God, to be our protectors. And we just come today to recognize them, to let families know, dear Heavenly Father, that even though they are gone, but yet they are not forgotten. We thank you and we love you. In your Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We're not Martha and the Vandellas, but we're going to do the best we can.
Amen.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Still gives me goosebumps every time I hear that song. This is the monument in honor of James L. Foster, Corporal James L. Foster. We're going to have some quick opening remarks. First of all, I just want to say this is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so thankful to have all you people here. I love y'all. Our pastor is here. His beautiful wife is here. Oh, there she is. And all the people that I love are here. And thank you all so much. This day is so special. We wanted to do this monument in honor of my son, Corporal James Foster. And we also wanted to share the monument with all the veterans whose names had not been listed on these other plaques because they served our country just as well. I want to give thanks to Mr. Nelson and Mr. Dice, who helped me so much to get this monument purchased and established. I appreciate all the work that they did. I appreciate Mr. Nelson for keeping the cemetery looking so good.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, I don't have a lot to say right now, but it's kind of like, I got a lot of people here that I want to recognize real quick. So I'm going to recognize my son's father, James Redmond.
All right.
That's his daughter, my son's sister, Tamika.
All right.
And then this is my daughter, Lanita. And all these people, my relatives, I'm going to go down and recognize all my relatives that's here. I want to recognize Philip. That's my son's best friend. He has never failed. He's always here. Then that's Samara, like I already said, that's Samara, my granddaughter. That's James' only child. Then I have my grandson Xavier. I have, as Darian is doing the video, and for me, he's my grandson as well. There's Demetrius and her daughter, granddaughter, and her son, Dominique. Then my other relative is my sister Hazel, Amber. She's right there. So those are all of my relatives, my goddaughter, Nicole. My other grandson is on his way from Dallas. He's running a little bit late. But the special guests are all of you. And I know Margaret, but Margaret to get away, that's a miracle. Because she's everywhere. So thank you.
Sweet.
One thing I do want to say too is my sister-in-law, Dr. Mary Hawkins.
Yes.
She also played a part in us getting this monument.
Yes.
And she offered. She just said, I said, I got to get this money together. She says, well, ask your family. I said, well, you know, I don't like to ask nobody to. She said, well, I'll give you something. And she came through.
Amen.
Amen.
Didn't have a problem with it, and I want to thank her. And she wanted to be here today, but she couldn't because she had a conflict in her schedule. So,
Let me say this one thing because while I'm here and have witnesses, Mama Cuda, Miss Perkins, said please forgive her passing out. She had to go to the hospital, but she's at home doing fine. She's going to rest her leg up and be ready for church for the long sermon for tomorrow. But she said to let you know that she's sorry.
I just want to talk a little bit about the kind of person my son is. On the program, you'll see where we have a little article about him from 2007 when he was inducted into the Honor Society. He got his master's degree at Prairie View A&M in counseling. And he was an extremely intelligent young man. He was the liaison for the at the Veterans Administration in Houston with the Congress people. He worked with them, and he helped veterans get their benefits, and he did some great work for them. And he worked hard, not just at work, but he helped a lot of people in Hearne, and people from Hearne who didn't live in Hearne anymore. He helped them get their benefits as well. And I'm going to share one little quick thing about him. That scripture on there talks about someone who wants to help people all the time. He helped everybody. When we had the memorial service for him at the Veterans Administration shortly after his funeral, I thanked them for giving him a job, paying him for what he does anyway. Just helping people. And one of the things that I want to mention, there's two things I want to mention that he did that will let you understand what kind of person he was. One of the things is when Katrina hit, we had so many people in our house in Hearne and on the farm that he just bought in. He had 9 people at his house, I think, in Houston. He saw some people on the street one day. He went into the store. They were standing outside, a man and his family and another man and his family. And he came back out. They were still standing out there. And he asked them what was wrong. They had been put out of the hotel and they didn't have anywhere to go. So he took them all in. And for a couple of weeks, I think, and fed them, took care of them, everything. And another thing that he did that I was extremely proud of besides serving our country. I got a call one day. I was at one of my girlfriend's house in Dallas, and I got a call. They said, your son's been in an accident. And I just freaked out. And her 11-year-old grandson came and took my hand and prayed with me. And what he did that day, he was in a truck, and there was a lady and a little girl in the front seat. They were about to pull out in front of a fast-moving car that was running the red light. He pulled out in front of before they could pull out, and he took the hit because he felt like if they got hit, they would be really hurt, and he felt like he could do better, and he did. He had to go to the hospital. Who was that? Was that Dominique? Dominique, was that you in the truck with him? Yeah, Dominique. He was living, and I just thought that was so heroic of him, so selfless of him. So that's my son. That's the kind of person he was. Now this is my daughter, and I'm gonna let her say something. And also, if Tamika would like to say something, I would love for you to have some words. And his dad, if he would like to as well.
She called me a crybaby. Yes, I am.
Get your tissue ready.
Okay. All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Nene, and James Foster was my big brother. He was that dude, y'all. He was a Marine Corps veteran, and I'm so thankful for his service, not just to our country, but in every aspect in which he served. My grandbaby was 17 months old when James passed, and now he's 8 years old. I explained to him the other day what a memorial celebration is and how, I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay, baby. Take your time.
Headaches on the table.
I'm good. I told you to come up. And how I explained to him what a memorial celebration is and how my brother is so unforgettable. He had such a big presence, so his absence is definitely felt, but at least we can be grateful for all the good memories we have of him. I want to share a poem I wrote to my brother. My brother, my hero, my protector, my friend. I never could have imagined this is how it would end. I thought for many more years we both would stay, and together we would grow happy, old, and gray. Well, it's been almost 7 years since we lost you, and yet it's still so hard to believe it's true. Many rivers have formed because of my tears. Many people have had to lend me their ears to talk about my deep sorrow and how I really miss you so. So many times I needed an answer to something, and without thinking I would go, oh, I'll just call Pukey, he'll know. Then in an instant, reality would once again sucker punch me in the gut, and I would find myself back in the same emotional rut. Like X, I feel I'm slipping, I'm falling, I got to get up, because I know the devil wants me to be stuck in this sadness, this pain, but I can't let him win. So I find peace and comfort in knowing I'll see you again. In the meantime, I thank the Lord above for having blessed me with a brother I am so proud of. You were so loving and brave and funny and smart, with the most outgoing personality and the biggest heart. A real man, hard-working, responsible, and tough. Even when times got hard, you would never give up. I could go on and on. You were all those things and more. Someone to look up to and truly adore. You genuinely cared about people. You were just all around good. Thank you, Lord, for giving me the best brother you could. Okay. Now that's the way you want to be remembered, everybody. Y'all be good.
I didn't prepare anything, but everybody, what Nene just said, felt the same way about Pukey. We all miss him. He was very involved in so many people's lives. So many people miss him. I still get tags on some of the old posts that he made many, many years ago, and just comments, outpour of love from people I have never seen or even heard of, but they knew me and Nene. So, again, no prepared speech, just speaking from my heart, but he is definitely missed, and we're very happy to be a part of today's experience.
It's my turn. Just what she said, reiterating. It's hard. Every Friday we would go out to eat, and he loved to play, tell people he's my uncle and my cousin, so we would always go out to eat, and someone would ask, how is that so, that that's your uncle and your cousin? And he loved for them to try to figure out. And then at the end he'll tell them, my grandma adopted me, so I'm her uncle and her cousin. But he is truly missed. He took me and my family in, and we stayed with him. He took my daughter in, and he just had a big heart all the way around. And he did a lot with my son. He was a role model, most of all. And I truly miss him. That's it.
All right, ladies. Now, at this time, we're going to have the Mr. Robert Nelson to make some remarks. He's the president of the Riverside Cemetery Association.
Amen.
I'd like to say hello to everybody again. I don't have a whole lot to say, but I just want to thank Ms. Redmond and her family for allowing us to work with her on this. And working with her, that was a job. But I enjoy trying to lift up, make the cemetery look better. I appreciate all you ones that tells me that the cemetery looks nice and everything, but I can't say take all the credit. My guy that I have mourning, his name is Jose Guerrero, and he gets after it whenever he sees that it needs mowing. He called me and said, hey, it needs mowing. I told him to go ahead and do it, and so I'm thankful for that. That's all I have. I'm not.
We were going to have a song by Reverend Vince.
Councilman said he don't sing. No, ma'am.
But I'm going to ask my dear sister Hazel Ember if she would bless us with a song. I know this is like last minute. She's always prepared.
Oh, me always doing something, you know. I mean, can't help but love my sister, but there's a song that means so much to me, because every time I think I'm on program, I think I sing this song, because I haven't been saved always, and I know where God has brought me from, and I know where God is going to take me to. And I may ask you to join in later on with this. Y'all join in with me, okay? When I give you the cue, okay? There is a name I love to hear. Love, sing His words. Sound like music in my ear. Sweetest name on earth. Will you join with me and say, oh, how I love Jesus. Come on, act like you love him. Well, singing, oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Because he first loved me. Let's do it one more time. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Because he first loved me.
Good afternoon to everyone that is assembled. That's a perfect song that Sister Ember just sang, oh, how I love Jesus, because he is the first one to love me, and not only me, but to love you. I was grateful and honored when Sister Ola asked me to have special remarks today. From looking at where God has brought us from on Thursday, all of the bad weather, to a bright and beautiful and sunshining day to day. God is able to shine in the midst of whatever storm that we may face, because he's a good God like that. And I'm grateful for his love and his mercy. I am Jennifer Taylor. For those of you that are from out of town that don't know me, I am a Hearne resident, born and raised right in little old Hearne, Texas. Sister Ola, I want to thank you and express my gratitude to you and your family, your daughter, for the commemoration of this monument. The definition of monument states that it's an erected fixture, something to pay homage to a notable person. All of these that are listed here, especially Corporal Foster, are notable people. But when I look down to 2016, I see my big brother there, Willie C. Jackson. So I want to thank you so much for that, Sister Ola Redmond. But let us not grow weary in well-doing. Let us continue to just keep on, just try to look up. Whenever we want to have our heads hang down, let us look back on all of the wonderful memories that our loved ones that have gone before us, that have created. They not only fought for this nation, but they fought for us being their family members. And every day is a good fight. Let us not get complacent. Let us not give up. Let us not just sit still. If there's something that you could do for the betterment of your family, of your community, let's thrive together and do that. So I just want to thank you again, Sister Ola Redmond, for allowing me to have special remarks. But to God be the glory for the good things that he is doing in our lives. So thank you. May God bless you and may God keep you is certainly my prayer.
Amen. Anybody would like to have any words about anybody on here?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I just want to speak on my dad, Eddie Lee Thomas. Your mother, she loved to hear him sing. He's a lot of people love to hear him sing. Wish I could sing like him. But let the service, I'm done speaking for me. So, man, you've done a wonderful job with this and some other things you've done in the community. And we appreciate it. We thank you. And we love you. And may God continue to bless you. All right.
Okay.
God bless y'all. Ola, I knew you were a little bossy, but you bossed this. I like this. This is beautiful. Y'all, this is wonderful. This is my first time ever attending one of these. And I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here, and I thank each and every one of you. But Ola, this is wonderful. Your son, our son, we loved him as well. Willie C. Jackson, the man with a plan. That's my brother. I'm the oldest, but he acted as if he was the oldest. There was nothing that you couldn't ask him to do that he wouldn't try to do it for you. He had a love for his family, and when he became a part of our church, he had a love for his pastor and his wife. He loved what he did, and he loved the Lord, and he sure did love serving his country. And I want to thank you, Ola, again for this. This is wonderful. I'd come out here, but I never came down here and looked at this. Now it makes me have something to come and look for too. And someone just called on the phone and wanted to know why we were here, who died. I said, we're out here to not die. We want to live. We want to live until it's our time. And we want to love till we just can't love no more. Until God say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. Thank you all. God bless you. And Ola, you in my thing. You in there. You in there. You my sister. You in my sister. Girl, you did that. Oh, honey. Whatever that thing you told me. Yes, Lord.
Well, I have a lot of family members up here.
Oh, Lord.
But you know, the Washington family is a patriotic family. And my daddy was named James Colonel Washington. He named his son after him, and he's on here. He passed in 1964 at Brazos River. And then I have an uncle named General Washington. And then I have a cousin named Major Kurt Washington. Write that down, Margaret, for your paper. But I have my baby here, Johnny. He decided to go home God took him last year. And I have some cousins over here, Gerald White. Y'all probably remember Gerald Bonnet, Miriam C. Bonnet. It's a lot of family that have gone on and served the Army, the Navy. And I thank God my son is following the pattern. He served in the Air Force. And now I have a grandson that just came back from Iraq. And I'm asking y'all to pray for him because he's going through some problems now that it's going to be permanent. But I thank him for saying, I want to go and serve my country. May God bless you all. And to Mr. Redmond, Mr. Hobo, just to let you know, thank you. And thank Ola for giving us this young man, Corporal James L. Foster. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosalind Fern Mack Ward. Some of you may know me, most of you may not. I am the daughter of Oliver W. Mack, who is listed here on the monument, on this beautiful monument, I must say. Sister Ola several months ago told me that she was preparing this and that my dad's name would be on the monument. But she didn't tell me that it would be as wonderful as this is. Absolutely beautiful. And I do plan to take a picture of it and share it with my sisters and brothers before I leave here. Those of you who did not know Reverend Mack, he pastored here in the city of Hearne for over 45 years. He was a school teacher for many years. Then he became the assistant principal of the Hearne High School for I think about 12 years. And he was actually my assistant principal when I was in high school. So I feel very blessed to not only have him as my father, but as my assistant principal at the high school when I graduated. Gosh, there is so much to share about my dad. And he and my mom got married before any of the 6 children were born. They told the story of how they went to Prairie View as husband and wife. Daddy went to the Army for a little while until Mama was old enough to get married and to finish school, and then they both went to Prairie View together. And he used to tell us how it cost, I think he said $30 a month to stay in married housing at Prairie View University. So that's how old it was. So he had so many great stories to share, and he loved sharing them. So I'm sure many of you heard some of his stories. But when I sat down today, it was just an honor to be able to say that he was my dad, and to see that Ola Mae would think enough of him to add him to this monument. So thank you very much. This has been excellent. I'm so glad that we were able to come. And to God be the glory for all of the things you do, Sister Ola, because you are an amazing young woman. I would imagine that your son was awesome because of what I know about you. So thank you for all the things that you have done since you've been in the city of Hearne to make our lives better. This is only one of the many contributions that you have made to this city. We want to say as a whole, and I think we're all here because we love you, we adore you, and we think you are an excellent woman, and to God be the glory for all of the wonderful things that you have done.
Anybody else? I'm trying to hold it together. So, Pastor Ward, you're up. And after Pastor Ward has the word and closes out in prayer.
How long I got?
30 seconds.
Now, we're not at Independence now. And he can take his time at Independence. We ready to hear that. We ready to hear it, Pastor. Take your time. You got this.
Okay, I'm Pastor Ward, pastor of Independent Missionary Baptist Church here in Hearne, Texas. And the first thing I want to get off the chest is that when Ola Mae was talking about all the relatives out there just looking, and I don't know how she can miss me. I'm standing there just, and big as I am, I'm standing there, and she can't say nothing. But if Cousin Dorothy was here, Cousin Dorothy would say, ain't no way you can leave Jack out of the family. I know Cousin Dorothy is here, and she probably really want to say something right now, but we can't hear her because we stayed over Cousin Dorothy's house on many a day, and coming up, and we called him Pukey. You know, he would always try to hang around me and Curtis. We was a lot older than he was though, but he would always try to hang around us, and he was a smart and intelligent young man, and I had the privilege and the honor to do his funeral when he passed, when Ola Mae had called me and told me that he had passed, and because he was an intelligent young man. He was real smart. He always have been smart. He would always try to keep me and Curtis in line, but no, we was something else growing up. And so and I'm glad he didn't take after us because he'd been in bad shape. But anyway, God is a good God, and we thank him. And this dedication today is a wonderful thing. My brother is buried here, who was in the military for over 20-something years, and my grandfather is buried out here as well, James Lawrence. My brother's name was Nathaniel Lowe. He's buried out here as well. And so I just thank God for this, for what Ola Mae is doing. When she asked me, first of all, she asked me to come and just pray. I said, well, I can do that. That's easy. But then I want you to say something. I said, then you're putting pressure on me because then you put a time limit on me.
Oh, come on now.
And you know I'm not short-winded, especially when you have something good to talk about, and think all of us ought to appreciate what all of our veterans do for us, those that are fighting for our life, for our freedom, and everything. We really ought to appreciate that, and I thank God for my brother, my grandfather, and for guys like Pukey here that I called him, that thought enough to go over and be part of the military of our country to help our country can maintain the freedom that it has. But when I thought about this, what was going on, I thought about when Israel crossed over the Jordan into the Promised Land. And once they got over into the Promised Land, the Lord had 12 priests, or had the priests to get a tribe, one person from each tribe, to go out and get a stone. And when they got the stone, they wanted them to build a monument to let them know in remembrance that this is where we crossed over, and to remind them of what God had done for them. And every time we come to the cemetery and we see stones like this, it's a reminder of what God has done for us. And a lot of times we may not think of it that way, but Ola Mae, God bless you with Pukey. God allowed you to raise Pukey. God allowed you to love Pukey. And that's a blessing from the Lord. Because there are many today that can't have any children. So Joe, just to have him in the years that you did have him in your life, that was a blessing from God. And so Joshua reminded the people that every time you look at this, you remind your generations on from here that this is where we crossed over. And so every time we come out here and we see this monument and we see our loved ones' names on this monument, we just have to say, Lord, I thank you.
Lord,
For
I
my
thank
grandfather, I thank you for my father, I thank you for my brother, whoever you have out here. You ought to just thank the Lord for the time that you did have with him. Amen. May God bless you and may God keep you is my prayer.
Thank you, Pastor.
All right, cousin, all right.
Cousin Pastor.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this concludes our program. I want to thank y'all again for being here.